we've already had a couple of the sowing the seeds of success and moving through the different parts of the seasons in terms of comparing growing leadership to what we would do in growing our garden. Of course, you can see bolded there is where we're going to be looking at in terms of a topic today. And so when we start talking and visiting about that particular topic, we think about fertilizers and collaboration and encouraging the pursuit of mutually beneficial purposes and thinking about what we're trying to accomplish in our programs. You know, we think about whenever we want to grow that garden, we think a lot of times about fertilizers, but really before we even start thinking about fertilizers, we need to be thinking about what nutrients do those plants, what nutrients do we need as a group or organization to grow effectively, to really meet the missions of what we're trying to do to be successful. And one of those first things that I always tell people when we start analyzing, you know, we've got a project out here or we've got something that we're trying to focus on, thinking about those nutrients, well, what's already there? And for us, obviously for Master Gardener programs, we have our network of UT Extension because we're UT Extension. But one of the things that we often don't think about is our other partners like UT Ag Research. Now, I know that there's probably a big percentage of us out there across the state don't have maybe the access to the 10 research centers that we do here in Cumberland County. But there's lots of other partners out there that we can use to collaborate with, that we can use to do these programs. I know, and I'll visit about this here in just a second, that one of our collaborative efforts that when we first started out and we submitted it for a search for excellence, one of the big things that people said was, well, we don't like it because it can't be duplicated. Well, I think a lot of times that we get caught up in worrying about what we can and what we can't do rather than thinking about, let's try it, or we can do this, and looking at other beneficial partners that we can work with to basically do these things that we want. And so we start looking at those outside partners, we can use them for inspiration, exchange of ideas, support, success, financial, the teamwork of carrying things out. And so anytime that we can come out and we can find these other outside organizations or collaborators, and I keep using the term organizations, you know, Cumberland County working with Putnam County or Greene County working with Sullivan County, those are all collaborative efforts, and we'll hear a little bit later on, even going beyond the boundaries of just our county and what's there to accomplish the task that we want to accomplish. Now, you know, as it shows there, alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. And that truly is something to kind of keep in mind, because when we start thinking about accomplishing these tasks, accomplishing things that we want to get done in our organization, teamwork is truly going to be the key to getting those things accomplished. So it's going to be the key to success. Don't forget it. And when people think about emulating things that you do, don't take that as a diss, but take that more as a form of flattery that those people want to maybe do things that you've done, emulate things that you've tried in the past, and also be a good sounding board for those people. One of the things that I try to really, really encourage, and Dr. Baumgartner, she could tell you this, I was talking, let's not reinvent a wheel, or let's not plow ground that's already been plowed. You know, so when we use these collaborative efforts and we visit with these people, and so as leaders communicating, we've already had the communication segment of this program. When we branch out and we visit with these other people, they may have already accomplished a lot of some of these tasks that we may be trying in our county, and they can easily teach us or tell us what pitfalls to avoid, what things maybe work the best. And we can take those, and while what might work in one county or region of the state not work in another, but there may be certain things and certain aspects of each of those that really improves the program that what we're doing. So I've always been a big fan of everything that we do in our county. We want to share it. We want to share it with everybody. We want to give you all the information that we've got. We want you to take this. We want you to improve on it and then share it back. I know I didn't use this as an example in terms of the program, but here years ago we did took an idea from Putnam County that they shared with us, the REAP kits. And basically we took the REAP kits and kind of added our twist to it. And I think now Blount County has taken it and other counties have added their twist to it. And it's been a program that's basically spread out through collaborative efforts. So these collaborative efforts, a lot of times they can save us a lot of time. They can make life easier on us. They can make everything happy. And then a lot of times it's really good just to have that helping hand, to have that support in terms of what we do. All this working together a lot of times can truly maximize our efforts. They can reduce our energy put in. They can dramatically improve our efficiencies, and they can truly improve the quality of the programs that we put out there. A couple of those old phrases that I love to use, or up in the top there, one that's favorite of Melody's is walk the talk. And one that I really like is that, you know, that collaborative leaders are linkers. A lot of times rather than linkers, I'll use facilitators, and they encourage through personal engagement, suggestion, influence. Leaders, effective leaders, are not there to just give direction and formal delegation, tell you what you're going to do and do this and do that. We want buy-in from people, and we want them to feel like they're a part, they're engaged with what we're doing. So link these roles and projects back to the vision, the values of the groups, and discuss how this can be put into action. And so one thing that I really encourage people to do, and even in our Master Gardener organization in Cumberland County, you know, when we first started our gardens here years ago, you know, we had some of those internal strives and things, and we really, and some of the questions on direction of what we wanted to do with certain things. And we always brought it back to the plants and helping other people. And I think through really, truly focusing on helping other people through horticulture and plants, we've been able to really grow our organization. We've been able to increase the volunteers. And as the little emoji down there says, you know, volunteers rock and are really an important part of what we do. Now, a couple of, and these are just examples, and I'm going to share 2 examples in our county. We'll have another speaker here I'll introduce just in a second, share. These are only meant to be kind of examples to kind of really maybe a starter fertilizer for our breakout groups here. So when we branch out, we don't necessarily focus on the examples I have, but we focus on new, innovative examples. How can we take the old and traditional and freshen it up? How can we take something or come up with those creative ideas that's never been thought about, especially in these trying times, to come up with those innovative programs to reach people? So the first collaborative example I have up, the image on the left, as you look at your screen, of the kids in the Lambeth in our kindergarten in our UT Gardens, Plateau Discovery Gardens in Crossville, is one of my favorite pictures that we've got in the gardens. And there's 2 or 3 pictures of kids and youth that we've got that have been participating in projects over the years in that kindergarten that I just love those images, because that's the focus of what we're trying to do, is help people. And it's not just us as homeowners, but it's those other outside audiences that we can use teamwork, collaborative examples to reach people. The smaller picture there, the left, are some of those people that make that possible. The lady in the orange shirt, that's Miss Beth Morgan. She's one of our master gardeners here in Cumberland County. That was her brainchild in terms of starting this. But Beth didn't accomplish the kindergarten by herself. And she had a team of people that worked tirelessly to pull this information together to basically build this kindergarten. But the kindergarten can't be possible if an organization, Fred Mullen to the far right was our president at the time, and then in the center there in the peach-colored shirt, many of you may know our center director here, Mr. Walt Hitch. It took a collaborative effort of all these people working together in the grand scheme of things to basically realize the efforts of this kindergarten. And so we see the excitement of these kids out playing in this garden. Another one of teamwork, and I love this one right here. You see our big classroom here in the back that was built based on funds donated by volunteers, master gardeners, and the general public, Cumberland County Master Gardeners, to build this outdoor classroom. But you can see with our Fall Gardeners Festival here sprawls far beyond the outdoor classroom. When I vision teamwork, we've got Dr. Tom Samples here talking to a group. And then down here, Mr. Johnny from Knox County participating and listening in terms of our program. All these things, all these facets, the collaboration, the people working together is what makes this event possible. You know, as you look down here in the bottom right, we've got Dr. Mark Wyndham speaking to the group, and this event has grown to approximately 1,000 people in a daily event. This year, we're kind of in question whether or not we'll get to do that just because of what's happening. And so as we move forward with our kindergarten, as we move forward with the potential either cancellation or doing something different with our Fall Gardeners Festival, what are those things that we can do? How can we improve outreach? How can we continue to grow these events? How can we collaborate, not just within Cumberland County, but Knox County, Greene County, Hamilton County, Shelby County? How can we all share together? There's going to be financial crises that may hit many of our master gardener organizations. There's going to be trials and tribulations that try and keep people engaged. And so when we move to the breakout sessions, the one thing that I want you all encouraged to do is think together, be open-minded, really share in terms of those ideas of what we might do to be the new, moving forward, the progressive ideas of our organization. Now, one thing that I would like to introduce to you, we've got a new extension agent down in Bradley County, Evangeline James, who's come with us. And so Evangeline, young, dynamic, full of energy, is already bringing some of those new ideas and concepts to what we're talking about here. And so what I want to do at this time is kind of turn it over to Evangeline, and she can talk about her virtual plant clinic. And Evangeline, when you want me to move on to the next slide, you just let me know.
Alrighty, sounds like a plan. Well, first of all, thank you so much, guys, for letting me share what our master gardeners are kind of working on in Bradley County. And I really hope that this can help kind of set forth some inspiration and kind of get all of our minds working, and we can really, during these breakout sessions, just build on that. I'm excited to see what comes out of these breakout sessions. But anyways, again, as Greg had mentioned, my name is Evangeline James. I'm the ag agent in Bradley County. And so what I'm going to do is kind of just take us through a little bit of what we're doing with our virtual plant clinic. And I just want to preface it by saying, you know, this is a learning curve for us and for all of us, really. And, you know, a lot of the things I'll be talking about, we're just now implementing. So I don't want to come across like we have it all figured out, because you know, we're all, it's learning for all of us. But so anyways, we're deciding to call it the plant clinic in our office. And I know that for some master gardeners, it's Ask a Master Gardener or Plant Diagnostics Group. I will say that I graduated from the University of Florida, and I worked with master gardeners at extension offices there, and they call it the plant clinic. And sometimes I'm a bit of a creature of habit, and I feel like the name is fitting. But my point is, you know, the name isn't so much as what's important for now, at least, as so much as what we're offering and how we're going about doing it. So anyways, so basically how we're going to be, our game plan for running the plant clinic. So our lovely front desk lady, Miss Lisa, is already forwarding me and emailing me questions that come in from residents in Bradley County. And so what I've just been doing is, what I typically do is I, you know, research, I answer, I call back. But what we're going to switch it up to be is she emails it to me, and then I distribute the questions to the group in a group chat. And before I get into that, I want to mention as well, what we're trying to do is just get a skeleton of a plan and then build upon that as we go, and we find more solid ways or more thought out ways of doing it, you know, and we're open to molding it. So anyways, Lisa will send me the questions, and I will submit those questions to the Master Gardeners in a group text. And each Master Gardener will be assigned a day. So, and right now we have about 12 people of our group who are interested in, 12 or 13 who are interested in participating. So each Master Gardener will have a day. And then when it goes to that group chat, if it's Monday and Monday is your day, you know, hey, that's my question. And again, we might, with being that there's more than, you know, 7 people and there's only 7 days of the week, we might split it up to mornings. Like you get the first half of Monday, you get the second half of Monday. We're not quite sure yet. But anyway, so Lisa sends the message to me. I send the message out in a group chat to the Master Gardeners. If it's their assigned day, then they can answer the question from there. I was considering using an app, like an app to have the Master Gardeners use, like WhatsApp or Slack, because it's really good for sending voice messages and photos and PDFs. But again, right now we're just trying to get the ball rolling, just get started and have a skeleton plan. And then as we get comfortable with that, we'll kind of upgrade things and move forward with it. But I don't want to overwhelm anybody right now, given that we're already having to adapt and adjust so much in this current situation. So anyways, and so how are we promoting our plant clinic? Well, we're for sure putting it up on Facebook. I have some Master Gardeners who've created some Facebook content, and I'm also mentioning it in my articles. And if you look in this photo here, this is a website that one of our Master Gardeners put together for us. She is a rock star. And beyond that, it wasn't just her, you know, back to collaboration. We had multiple meetings, we spoke with the officers, we had people engaged, we talked about it, we made outlines, we made game plans. And I brought this up just to show that this is one of the ways that we're going to put out the plant clinic. You know, we're going to have like a section for the plant clinic. We can click it, get info, see our email, our phone number, and kind of go there. And again, I want to say it's important to remember that, you know, do what works for you. What works for us might not be the best for a different county, and vice versa. So that's something to kind of keep in mind for right now, at least, that there's no, you know, strict, rigid, set protocol. And I also, before I move on, I will also mention that in terms of training Master Gardeners, I've gotten some info from another state, which I'll touch on in a moment. And I've also been discussing this with Natalie. I'm considering gathering some information together, and maybe even just for our county or whichever county is interested, putting together a video that kind of highlights some things to look at when you are running a plant diagnostic clinic, like how to dig for more info, because sometimes people, you know how it is, they'll send you like very minimum info and you kind of have to dig around and ask the right questions to gather more information on how to assess the situation. Or, you know, even something as simple as just like, you know, mentioning UT Master Gardeners when you answer the phone, or, you know, whatever, things of that nature. But Greg, if you'd like, you can go to the next slide. Okay, so, and then this is just kind of really quick discuss some multiple facets of the plant clinic. You know, when we can reestablish back into some sense of normalcy, you know, we want to still keep things in the plant clinic, but I also want to have it like we're doing right now with the Facebook. So what I'm trying to say is we have our virtual plant clinic, and then we have additions to it, and we want to have multiple facets of where we're present. So one thing we collaborated on, because the Master Gardeners have been meeting about once a week to discuss doing things virtually and with social distancing, and we decided it'd be great to have on Thursdays a Facebook Live where it's kind of an interactive live aspect of the plant clinic where people can come and bring their questions, their concerns, and honestly just learn, you know, just talk to one another about what they're growing, what's working for them, what's not. So we had our first Facebook Live on Thursday, yesterday, and it went way better than we could have ever hoped. I'm so grateful. This is Tiffany Pendergrass. She hosted our first Facebook Live, and to the right, actually, you can see she also made this ad for promoting the Facebook Live, and we had 74 comments, 11 shares, and 804 views. And I was like, whoa. I was thinking we'd get like 30 if we were having a good day, you know. But that just shows you, like, never underestimate what you can do with what you're given. And honestly, live we had about 22 participants max, but we reached beyond that, just so much further than we could have thought. And again, like Greg has mentioned, just collaborating, you know, we're considering changing, in order to run a Facebook Live, you have to be an administrator. So we're considering switching that out every week and like kind of passing the baton almost. So each Master Gardener can discuss something and host the Facebook Live so we can see the different people in the group, and each one of us has our own niches, you know. So that's something we're considering. And again, we had, during this plant clinic, this live session, we discussed the plant clinic, we promote that, we go over latest information on Master Gardeners, we explain what Master Gardeners are, how you can get involved, and of course we share links to the extension site, our personal website, and our Facebook page, and all that good stuff. And we have the Q&A, and it's been pretty good. We're trying to like network it all together, like mention the plant clinic during Facebook Lives, during our Wednesday walk sessions, mention our Facebook Lives, just kind of link it all together. And then of course, you know, those Master Gardeners who watch it live, they receive 1 volunteer hour, and then Master Gardeners who watch it post the live presentation receive 1 CEU point. So we're trying to just encourage people to be there, answer questions, kind of get that conversation going, and of course, they can get some hours out of that as well. So, and then we're ready for the next slide, please. And I hope I'm not, you know, running through this too fast. I just know there's a lot to cover, and we have to get to these discussion groups. So forgive me if I'm kind of speeding through it a little bit. But so you might be wondering, why is there a University of Florida symbol up on our UT screen? Well, this is Dr. John Roberts. He works with UF at the Orange County Extension Office. He's super cool. I actually met him originally when I was working at the Gulf Coast Research and Education Center. He's got a lot of information, a lot of experience. He's a really great guy. I was kind of, you know, concerned initially, like, how are we supposed to run this plant clinic? What am I supposed to do? You know, this is my first year as an agent, let alone, you know, taking something like this on. Well, I thought, you know, why not call somebody up that, you know, has been through some of these things? So through another agent friend of mine, I got a hold of Dr. John Roberts, and we discussed things and we collaborated together, which I always think is so cool, to not only go across counties, but then across states. And he had a lot of good information to share, and likewise me to him. And he sent over some great stuff about what they use to train Master Gardeners for the plant clinic. And again, I've brought Natalie into the conversation, and we've all been kind of circulating that around. But yeah, we're going to try and talk on the phone about once every other week, and kind of, he's like, hey, you know, I'll keep my ear to the ground. If we come across any good ideas, or you do, we'll share that information. So I just think it's really cool to be able, especially in this time, this day and age, to network with other people in other states. And we're all extension. We're all here for knowledge and for helping our communities. So I just think it's pretty cool to make those crossovers. So, and then if we could go to the next slide. And then, of course, so who will be interested in collaborating next? You know, skies are the limits. I think it's great what Greg's saying about, you know, not being offended if people want to emulate what you're doing, but rather just saying, hey, that means we're doing something right, you know. How can we grow together rather than apart? So, I mean, we're super open to teaming up with people and sharing information. And that's really all I have for now. So thank you so much for letting me speak.